To take the derivative of this quotient, x squared plus 1 on the top with cosine of x on the bottom, we're going to need a quotient rule, or the quotient rule. So we have f prime of x is equal to, and I always, for a quotient rule, draw my line and go ahead and put the denominator squared in the bottom. So when we're doing the derivative using a quotient rule, we have the derivative of the top, so we have d dx of x squared plus 1 times the bottom, which is cosine of x, and then from that we subtract the top, which is x squared plus 1, and then we multiply that by d dx of the bottom, and the bottom there is the cosine of x. So we've got a couple little derivatives to take to get the final answer. So again, I'm going to draw my line and I'm going to write my denominator squared. Now when we're using, or when we have trig functions, we have trig functions raised to a power, we can suppress that power. So cosine of x, that factor squared, can be written as cosine squared of x, and that's just a notational thing. And so we'll go ahead and use that typical notation. So here, going back to the top, we've got the derivative of the polynomial x squared plus 1. We take that derivative term by term, and so the derivative of x squared is a power rule, so we bring down the power 2 and drop the power by 1. We add to it the derivative of a constant 1, so we would just be adding 0. So the derivative there of x squared plus 1 is just 2x, and we multiply the cosine of x by it. So then continuing on here, we have the minus x squared plus 1 factor times the derivative of cosine of x. And the memorized derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x. And so the one thing that I would do to clean this up would be just cleaning up this minus. Those two factors that follow the minus sign, one of them is negative. So we can really just condense the two minuses into a plus sign again. So we've got, again, we've got the derivative here with the denominator being cosine squared of x. And then on top we've got 2x cosine of x. And then the minus that we have right here and the negative that we have right there, those two negative things would multiply together to be a positive thing. So we would add to it the factor x squared plus 1 times the positive now sine of x. And that would be our derivative f prime of x.